Good morning, everyone. I'm so excited to be here with you again. It's Wednesday, and I have a quick question for you all. What do you do after a spiritual victory? Where do you go after reaching your spiritual high point? And I'm sure that's a place that we've all been to, and I'm sure we've all had experiences of what happens after that. And we're going to talk a little bit about that today. And before we get started, just want to introduce myself. I'm Pastor Manny, youth pastor at English Oaks, Seventh-day Adventist Church in Lodi. And this is a ministry we have here, myself and Pastor Bob. We do a short devotional every morning, Sunday through Friday, to just share an encouraging thought for the day. And what we've been talking about is a prophet in distress. And we've been talking about the story of Elijah in the Old Testament. And from where we left off last time is Elijah was running away from Jezebel because she had threatened to kill him. And so Elijah right now runs to the wilderness, and he is in this space of crying out to God and just asking God to end his life. And I love what Pastor Bob talks about, and how he talks about being honest with God. And it's true. Like, why shouldn't we be honest with him? It's not like he doesn't see what's going on already in our lives, So God is a God that loves interaction. He loves connection. He loves it when we bring our hearts to him. And so I love what Pastor Bob talks about when he says that. And so just getting back to Elijah had this spiritual high point, right? He had defeated the prophets of Baal, and over 400 of them. And he has at this pinnacle, this spiritual high on Mount Carmel. And then right after that, he gets threatened by King Ahab's wife, Jezebel, who doesn't have a good reputation already. And he runs away, So what do you do after a spiritual victory? What do you do after a high point? And we see what Elijah did. He ran away, So what's an example for us that we can glean from and glean some wisdom from when it comes to stuff like this? Well, I mean, obviously, there's no better example than the example of Jesus, right? So we go to the New Testament now, and we go to a story in Mark chapter 6 where Jesus he feeds a multitude of people, right? It's about 5,000 people, and he feeds these people with 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish. All right, so did 5 loaves and 2 fish. Jesus feeds all these people, and it said that they had food, and they were like full, they were satisfied, right? So if there was ever a time to relax and bask in God's glorious power, right, it should have been that time, right? But instead, what did Jesus go do? Jesus went and he prayed, right? And I just love this about Jesus. He has this spiritual high moment, and he does this great and mighty thing for God. And he sends the disciples away, and then he goes into a mountain and he goes to pray. And as Jesus was with the Father on that mountain praying, the Father knew that Jesus was going to face a fierce storm. And that's comforting for me, because when I am communing with God, he knows what we are going to go through. He knows the things that can come up next for us. And so so that he's communing with the Father, and the Father knows that Jesus is going to go through this storm. And this is found in Mark 6:48. And so the disciples go off unprepared, right? They go into the boats, they start crossing, but they go unprepared. But then Jesus enters a storm after spending time with his Father. Now picture this. Think to yourself, how many times of having a spiritual high and coming down after that, where you faced a storm or a spiritual storm right after that high. And maybe you didn't go into prayer after that. Maybe you just felt like on a spiritual low right after your spiritual high. I know that's happened to me before. I have these spiritual high moments, and then I come down. I think I kind of get lackadaisical. I begin to relax, but then a spiritual storm comes, and then I hit like a low point, right? And so what I love about this is that Jesus teaches us the exact opposite, right? So Jesus enters this storm after spending time with his Father. And I am sure the Father prepared Jesus to meet this storm. And there's a temptation for us when we come down from a spiritual high to just relax, like I shared a little bit like a minute ago. But we see from this story that Jesus met this crisis with prayer, right? We cannot relax after spiritual high because in this story, a crisis could follow, and we see it exactly happen to Jesus in this story, right? So prayer and time alone with God must follow our great experiences we have with him, so we will not be caught unprepared or off guard when trials come. And so that's just a thought I wanted to leave us with today. What do you do after a spiritual victory? Well, I want to do what Jesus did, and Jesus went to pray. All right, so thank you, everybody. I hope you guys are having a blessed week so far. Until we meet again, take care, God bless, and have a good day.